Hey, what's going on, guys? Rob at 3STRONG. Today I want to talk about a really great lower body exercise called the single leg Romanian deadlift. This works the glutes and the hamstrings, but since it's a single leg variation, this is going to challenge the balance, challenge our coordination and stability. So it's going to get all those little stabilizing muscles around the hip, as well as those major muscles that I just mentioned, like the glutes and the hamstrings. There are a couple of different ways of doing this, and this is really just different ways of loading it. We can hold dumbbells, we can hold kettlebells, we can hold one, we can hold two, we can hold it on the same side, opposite side. There's all these different variations, but I'm just going to show you a couple right now. The key mechanics. So if we look at our double leg Romanian deadlift, that is, knees aren't necessarily locked out, but they're going to be almost straight, but just a little softness, and you're going to hinge at the hips. Let me actually show you in this direction. You're going to hinge forward at the hips there. You can kind of see that. Back is going to be nice and rigid, so you're really going to feel the stretch back here in the hamstrings and the glutes. When we take that to the single leg variation, we don't want to change the angle of our hips. We still want to hinge forward, but notice that when I go down, I'm going to show you my butt here, that my hips stay level. They stay parallel. A lot of times when people do the single leg variation, I'll get to the weights later, but a lot of times when people do the single leg variation, they start to open up and the balance issues come into play. We don't really want that. We want to keep our hips nice and level, and if you need to get your hands on your hips, totally do that, and then just raise that back leg up, still trying to keep everything even. So if we get our hands on our hips and one hand starts to open up, we know that we've lost that parallel position, that level with the ground position, and this really forces the glutes to work a little bit more, as well as those hamstrings. So I'll show you from the side. You are going to tilt forward, keeping that back leg nice and straight, and coming up. Okay, that's the body weight version. If we want to use dumbbells, certainly we'll have one in each hand. If we're going to use two, and then tilt forward, still keeping it very parallel. One of the things that I would recommend is that you keep the weight towards the outside of your balanced foot. Because if we go in, we don't want that knee to bow in. Everything is going to be nice and straight. Hips level, foot flat, knee right over the ankle. Let me show you from that different angle there. And really just try to get that stretch there, and then drive up. Down, foot nice and flat. See, you already have some balance issues. And drive up. That is our single leg Romanian deadlift. The kettlebells are actually an interesting one because the handles are that much higher, to where we can actually go down, touch on the ground, so we can actually just get down into this position, start from the bottom, get set up, drive up, and then ease it back down. We can rest, regroup, drive back up, and put it back down. Throughout this whole movement, you want to be sure that you're not rounding the back. Everything is staying locked in, and you're forcing the weight back onto the hips, onto the heel, and that's really going to utilize the glutes and the hamstrings. So that is your single leg Romanian deadlift variation. I use two dumbbells. It's a little bit more balanced. If you want to do opposite arm, single arm, or same arm, you can do that. Try those variations. Great exercise for the glutes and the hamstrings. See you guys tomorrow.